Myself a cup of ambition and yawn and stretch and try to come to life. Jump in the shower and the blood starts pumping. Out on the streets, the traffic starts jumping with folks like me on the job from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5. What a way to make a living.
Hi everyone, this is Radio Jack. We are live in studio and we have our virtual office assistant, President and CEO, Mr. Gustavo de la Fuente, right next to us. Gustavo, thanks for coming back into the studio and being with us tonight.
Well, thank you very much, Jack. It's great to be here again.
Yeah, and I can't learn enough about virtual office. It's an amazing concept. And as I understand it, you also work with people that are in the trades.
Yes, we do. And it's kind of funny because I know last time I was talking about people involved in finance and healthcare professionals, attorneys and consultants. And those are, I would say, sort of your more basic clients for virtual offices. They're I guess it's your traditional client, right, for virtual offices. But tradespeople, very interesting because you wouldn't think sometimes that an electrician or a plumber or a subcontractor or a landscaper would actually use these types of services. Why would they need an office? Why would they need a conference room? And in fact, they typically don't need these spaces. What they do need are the communication services. So I'm sure you've gone down the freeway and you've seen a van with a big, huge number, a red number on it, with a plumber.
Right.
And then you call the number and the guy who's actually driving it answers the phone, right? Yeah. I mean, hopefully free hand service, right?
Yeah.
Bluetooth.
It's got a speakerphone, hopefully.
All right, that's it. But that happens quite a bit. And especially if they're very busy, they usually do not have any assistance and have a lot of trouble actually getting back to people and listening to their emails to their voicemails, sure. And then, of course, answering their emails. And so what happens is that they lose sales. They lose clients that way. And most of us today, and we talked about this before, we get onto Google and we try to say we have an emergency at home with a heater or something, so we'll call the plumber.
Air conditioner
is a big one. So we call the service provider, and they don't answer the phone immediately, so we go on to the next person on the list. Yep. And that's how 99% of people are doing it now, yep. Right? So the virtual assistant services, where those come in, is that you're going to have somebody live answering that phone, okay? So it's the live answer. That makes a whole difference. If you have somebody calling in, maybe you need this AC service, right? So you call in, you get somebody to answer the phone, to get somebody to schedule you immediately, or at some point, of course,
sure.
Because they're looking at the calendar, they're looking at the schedule. They do that, and a lot of tradespeople will tell us, look, but I need for you to tell me immediately what's going on because I need to move on from job to job. I can't waste time.
Sure.
So we do a lot of calling. Immediately we'll call them up, or we'll send them the voicemail to email situation, or we will actually do a text message. Some people like text messages. It makes it easier for them to look on their smartphone. So anyway, there's various ways of dealing with this. And at the end of the day, what you want is you want a sale. You want to close that sale. You want to be happy that whoever's calling in is going to get that call in. And by the way, a lot of these people who call in are actually their sales calls. So you have to screen these calls. I know that many tradespeople are really angry sometimes when they get a call in and it happens to be a solicitor. So we at Intelligent Office will screen those calls initially. So by the time you get to that caller, we send you the information. It's somebody who really wants the service.
That's important. And the one thing that went through my mind, some of these jobs are big jobs, and you lose one call, that could mean a month's wages in some cases for someone like an air conditioner or a plumber.
Oh, yes, definitely. And many of these people, especially the ones that have grown over the years, have a number of people they rely on. So they, sure. In a way, they outsource some of what they do, especially subcontractors or contractors. They do this kind of thing all the time, or landscapers. And so they need the service. So we have somebody who will connect them to all these outsourced partners they have, if they have them.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So somebody will call in, and maybe you are the subcontractor. They need to talk to you, or maybe you need to talk to them, and so we'll get you through. But we'll find them. We'll find them for you as you do your job, and you get done with what you need to do that day on your schedule. So it's very much about, it's an effective service. It is practical. We are doing it for all kinds of industries, as I said, not just financial advisors, not just attorneys, but it could be plumbers, it could be electricians, as I said, it could be anybody in the trades.
Yeah, air conditioning guys, because that's what I needed this weekend.
It's hot.
That's right.
It's been hot and humid.
That's right. So I also wanted to ask you about your packages, like startup packages.
Startup packages are really an important part of sort of our recent offer, because we have a number of people who say they want to set up a brick and mortar operation somewhere, but they need these kinds of services. They want to meet with people in a conference room or in an office, and they don't usually have a consistent place where they do that in. They want a nice address for all what they do to receive their mail and what have you. So what we'll do is we have these startup packages for $199. What I'm doing now is people will use an office for 10 hours a month. They will have a virtual assistant for at least 100 incoming calls, and that also means scheduling. And they will also have a La Jolla address, a prestigious La Jolla address. For all those three services in one, at $199, I think that's unbeatable in the county. Yeah. And if instead of using an office for 10 hours a month, you want to use a conference room for 10 hours a month, that price goes a little bit higher. It's $299 a month. But again, you're dealing with having a virtual assistant. You're having the 10 hours of conference room use, and you're also having the mailbox, the La Jolla mailbox. And again, less than $300 for something like that is unbeatable.
It is unbeatable because when you consider hiring an employee, renting a space, I mean, there's just no comparison.
There's absolutely no comparison, and I think that there's a bunch of people out there, and as I said, in the trades, who may not think about using virtual offices because they might think, the other people, other industries use those things. Mm-hmm. I don't use that. Right. But the way I've described it, you can use them. You can use the communications part of it. Mm-hmm. And that for your clients, for your prospects, is a huge difference.
Well, I have thought oftentimes, because I have a rental home and I have a home, and every once in a while, a pipe will break.
Yes.
Something happens that really requires somebody there right away. And I call people, and it always happens on a weekend.
Yes, that's right.
So you're trying to reach somebody, and you get the recorded messages, yes. I'm out of the office right now, I'll be back in an hour or whatever.
Yes, I'll be back on Monday, right?
Yeah.
So we there's a couple of ways we deal with that. And glad you mentioned that, because we do after-hour service 24/7. And we also do, and if some people don't want that service perhaps, but they want a service. So what we'll do is a T-box where you actually come in there, you do record a message. I mean, but that message gets to you immediately, wherever you are. So I know there's different prices for something like that, but people have ways of these professionals, the tradespeople do have ways of getting their messages, and that's very important to them.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, I don't want to throw myself out there too much, but I'm sure there was a lot of people like me this last weekend, and even Doris, my wonderful executive assistant, had an emergency breakdown of air conditioning. When you live in El Cajon and it's 105 degrees out there, and your air conditioning goes out and you have an older relative in your home, it becomes a life-threatening situation.
Yes.
So you need somebody to talk to right away. And I'm just so glad that you provide that service for people in the trades, especially like air conditioning.
That's right.
And it's no different. Air conditioning in the summer, heat in the winter. It doesn't take long for an elderly person to really have serious issues when it's really cold.
Oh yes, no, definitely. It applies to all throughout the year. If you described a very sensitive situation, sure. But I mean, if you basically want to get business, you want to improve your business.
Yes.
Simply want to make sure that that somebody's picking up for you.
Yes,
because you're certainly not going to be able to do that if you're fixing a pipe.
So what's your number again?
Our number, Jack, is 858-964-2300. And our email, our web address is www.intelligentoffice.com/San Diego.
So if you are in the trades and someone is not answering your phone, don't lose business. Call Intelligent Office San Diego. Thank you again for being on the show, Mr. De La Fuente. We'll be back with more right here on San Diego's finest business radio on KCBQ Intelligent Talk.